Hello and welcome back to the channel. So, what are we doing today? So, very simple. We're building a Bowser N5 caboose. You kind of guessed that because, well, that's a video title, right? So, I've already glued down the weight because look, nobody wants me to sort of, put some super glue in there. But what else we're gonna also try and do today, and it's gonna be quite hard just because I'm not exactly sure where all the antenna supports go. Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're going to try and put in a train phone kit here. So the good news is a lot of the support for the roof is already glued in, so that's really useful. Not glued in, it's already marked out, so you can sort of see in a reflection how there's little studs there. That's just indicating where you got to drill. So I've got my trusty drill here. It's just a basic Citadel one. Why? Because I bought this cheap one, and basically the second you put a plastic, the drill bit snaps. So I've had the best so far experience with Citadel, and there's a Games Workshop basically near me. This one also is going to be pretty fun because, as you can see here, we got some metal wheels, and with those metal wheels we are also going to be fitting a light in it. I'm not really sure, part of me is a little bit unsure if we actually really need to do that. I mean, look, I'd still replace them with metal wheels anyway, but I'm sure everyone could agree is how do I put it, there's no interior in this, and while I might stretch build an interior later on, it's just going to be running at the back of my coal trains. So, yeah. Sit back, enjoy, and I'll do a sort of voiceover while I'm sort of all doing this. So, that way, I'm not sort of trying to explain myself while building it, because anytime you try and explain yourself while building something, guess what ever happens? You screw it up. So, here we go, and enjoy the show. Okay, so this is future me talking, so think, X-Men Days of Future Past. Oh no, it's future me in the past me's video. Okay, so I'm here to give you the rundown, a bit of context about what's going on. So, what you can sort of guess is I'm pre-drilling the holes to put in the later train phone. Now, I did sort of screw this up because and haven't really corrected it because I keep forgetting to, and since I've actually painted it over, it's still there, it's just not as noticeable. So what I've done is applied the roof walks, and I'm just now applying I'm not sure what these are on the side. Unfortunately the instructions for the train phone kit don't exactly tell you what they are, and I haven't really been able to figure out what they are, even from like the internet and all that. So if somebody in the comments could tell me what it is, that would be really helpful actually, because I'd love to know what it is. So now I'm starting to put in the roof walk, not roof walks, I've already put in the chimney, and now I'm starting to put in the train phone kit. Now, as you can probably see how long I spent trying to fix this train phone. Oh my god, I wanted to whack my heads that many times, because like, oh god almighty, it took me so long just trying to actually get it to all that, because what would happen is, right, it would just break on you, right? It would break on you on this route, and then you go, oh god, alright, then you gotta fix it, and because it's so fiddly, there's not, it's less than like a 32th of an inch thick, so you don't really have much space, and considering you gotta put wire through it. Now the wire was surprisingly much easier than I thought it would be, actually. So yeah, so I put in the train phone on one side. I did leave a fair bit extra just because on the actual pictures of what I've been able to sort of see from my from the internet, or from like N5s, is that it does sort of go all the way down to sort of where the body is. So I remember to sort of keep it in there, making sure that I've got enough room to sort of do that. And to be fair, looking at my current model now, the built one, It's actually come out quite alright. Now, obviously, I'm no good, as good as, let's say, someone who's been doing this very well. And, yeah, you've now noticed that I completely forgot to put in the support. Okay, so what I've done here is I fixed up and added my little support bit for the end. And, yeah, actually comes out quite well. And yeah, you can just sort of see me fiddling. So, bit of a random question. So, what do you guys drink, like, you know, when doing your layouts and all that? Because I know it sounds really random, but like, personally for me, I love Dr. Peppers, right? It's quite hard to get in Australia, but yeah, Dr. Peppers is my thing. You know, it's like that special treat at the end of the day, and it's quite hard to get here. It's like $2.50, right? So it's always a bit of a nice treat, and yeah. Just my favorite thing. Ice cold Dr. Pepper's. Got my train on a thing. And yeah. Okay, back to the regular schedule programming. Now we're trying to actually fit in the train phone wire on above the little cupola roof. And it's actually turned out quite well, actually. Later on, the actual wire did sort of break when attaching it to the roof. So I had to reapply some more super glue. Kind of annoying, and I know technically it's supposed to go in the back into the cupola, but yeah, it's a bit late for me to fix that. So I do have a separate kit that I will be hopefully doing again, but I probably won't do another video of it, not unless somebody really wants me to. So yeah, so that at least one side is kind of done, and yeah, so now we're doing the second side. It's basically the same thing and the same issues I had. It's so fragile that even if you're cutting it on the screw, you're really gonna know. So you gotta actually cut where the actual wire goes through first, because if you don't, you're gonna snap it immediately. And it is very annoying to actually fix it, really. What you gotta do is actually put it through the metal support, then use the actual wire as support while you sort of wait for it to glue, and that's it's annoying, right? It's annoying at the best of times, right? I'm not sure if how many of you have done like a Tamiya or a one of the other model kits, but it just reminds me of the of doing that, except even the plastic seems even more fragile than even doing, let's say, like a trumpeter kit, where you've got millions of parts, and somehow the part that you actually really need, yeah, it just snaps. And because you're pushing the wire through, you're actually putting a lot of tension on the other supports, because you know, you might push it the wrong way, and yeah, not fun. And then I had a look online, and I was kind of weirded out that the other wire, the wire that I'm doing right now, actually goes on the same side. So I did rectify that, and yeah, just trying to make sure that I've got enough space, and I did end up having to trim it. But overall, this is really my first time having to deal with a lot of brass and all that, so it's actually been quite a nice sort of teaching moment, you could say that, because even in my like tank models and all that, most of the times it was just dealing with like photo etch, so like things like, think the F7 grills, you know, how they always seem to fall no matter which company you want, right? You can't really blame them. Unfortunately, super glue, it does sort of deteriorate over time from what I've noticed, and yeah, no company seems to have this magical super glue formula that's just gonna stay hold. You know, I bought Australian, American, British. The grill always seems to always fall off, so you can't do much about it, alright? So yeah, you can see me spending another, this is cut down, by the way, you can sort of guess that, but I spent 30-40 minutes trying to fix them, because like, you know, if you got a Pennsylvania kit, you're just gonna be sitting there going, look, it's gotta have a train phone on it, that's what makes them special. Actually, speaking about that, I will, hopefully be doing a Proto 2000 versus a Broadway review, because I've got in my hands a Broadway E8, so I think it's a nice time to sort of compare what you actually get for your money. So you can sort of see me just sort of checking everything is about right, and if I remember at this stage, yeah, everything sort of seemed right. So if I remember correctly, I did sort of make sure everything sort of fit, bent all the wires right, and then I took it to the paint shop. So I used a Mysticolor lacquer because I love my lacquers, right? Lacquers to me just work, and honestly, because, you know, no matter what material, it just bonds well. You just need to put on maybe like a basic primer. You don't have to worry about peeling. It's great for weathering personally. You don't have it because it's so much hardier than, let's say, acrylics. You just spray it on. Yes, it might give you a little bit of brain damage because as long as you're not wearing a bit of whatchamacallit, like at least properly, you know, give yourself a lot of room to breathe, open up your windows. If you're spraying lacquer in like an enclosed environment without any protection, you got no one to blame but yourself. But yeah, so that's what I did. I sprayed Mysticolor Cowling Black. That actually seems to be my favorite sort of black for all of, you know, doing all the Proto 2000s, any kits basically, because it's nice, sort of really, 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 really dark brown. So it's not like it's not super black, because in real life, there's no real thing as black. It's either really, really dark shades of blue or whatever. So now what we're doing, what you're seeing me here, is trying to fit a the actual, I don't know how to put it, like remember the actual right word for it, but basically where all the brake handle, where they brake wheel goes, making sure that all of those bracing, that's it, bracing, all the bracing goes. And in the kit, it actually tells you to sort of bend it. Alright, you're just gonna snap a little bit of it off. I don't know, some of you might be very lucky. I didn't manage, and I'm usually quite delicate. So, yeah, I managed to snap it, which was not a fun day. But what can you do? So I tried repairing it in this video. Just let me check. Yeah, I fully repaired it, but obviously it's extremely fragile. And especially since they want you to bend it, it's not going to, I don't know how to put it. Yeah, it just never turns out too well. So, yep, you can see me sort of snipping all the bits off. And yeah, you can just sort of me showing you how I dry fit everything. And that turned to be a massive pain. Overall, it actually is quite a nice kit. I'll give you my conclusions at the very end. But, yeah, it actually just turned out quite nice. Look, my only complaint is I couldn't get the couplings on. Which is fine, because I'm going to be buying some KDs anyway. Alright, because personally, I like KDs. They just work. You know, you don't even have to think about it. You just put KDs on, don't have to think about it. They just work. And that's how it should be, you know? Don't need to overcomplicate things. So, yeah, I've got to buy myself some number 5 KDs with the little, like, thing that you stick them in. You know, that thing. But overall, it's actually quite good. It's quite well detailed. Not much underbody detail, which, look, is it really that much of a big deal? I've never really worried that much about underbody detail. When it comes to a lot of models and all that, I just find it a bit of a waste. Because straight up, you're not really ever going to see, you know, the underbody, unless like you've had a massive accident on your layout, right? You know, you've had a bad day and you've had like all your things are piling up, your SD40's on its side. Yeah, not a good day. That's kind of why I've just never really focused too much on it, because why bother, right? You know, you're wasting precious money and time to sort of make sure everything sort of works. So I've dry fitted the wheels. And now I'm sort of fitting in all like the, what's it called? Oh god, I had this. The little, I was gonna say cab side doors, but no, there's no cab side. Little ladders to help you sort of climb into the caboose. And then what else we got? So yeah, the only mistake I didn't realize I was doing at the time, which was it took me about 15 minutes to figure out that the massive nubs on the side shouldn't be there, and you'd think, like, how could you be so stupid? I agree. How could I be so stupid to do that? So it was quite interesting trying to figure that one out, going, oh no, why doesn't it move? Turns out all you have to do is cut little bits off and that weren't meant to be there in the first place, and everything works. But overall, it's a good kit. Seriously, if you ever find one of these, you should get one. I paid $70 for them, for a pair, with the train phone, light bulb, and all that. And I'm actually pretty happy with the result. It's because in Australia, you'll be definitely paying what? Walter's Proto prices are about $90 for a caboose. And considering I paid $70 for two with lights and all that, I think that's a pretty good deal. It did require a lot of work, but since I think, what was it? I think the entire raw footage was about 2 hours. So 2 hours assembly with a bit of painting. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal overall. Yeah, I mean, the train phone kit, I don't know where else you can find that, but hell, I don't even know if the company's still around. You never know with a lot of these companies. I found out one of the modeling companies I used to really like is closing down. They mainly did like British resin tanks and all that, but it's a bit sad that they were properly closing down, and you will never ever see them again. So what can you do? So you can sort of see me gluing in the little ladders in, and not realizing that, yes, I should have cut the little nibs off. See, this is what's really annoying about being future me. You're watching your own mistakes and wondering, why did you spend so much time trying to make it all work? Yeah, this is the moment I was trying to get all the couplers to fit and all that. Yeah, never doing that again. Too much time wasted, and I don't even know why I bothered, considering I was like, straight away when I was thinking like, oh no, I'll just replace these with Katie's. So that's why we sort of cut straight to the action. We got my Pennsylvania caboose. Look at how good it looks, and wait for it. Yeah, this is me trying to plug in my ET. So, yeah, waiting for it. I'm still waiting for the lights to turn on, and yeah, there we go. Only took me way too long to try and plug that one in, jeez. Yeah, and look at how, actually it's surprisingly bright at night. When I looked at it in the day, I was like, oh god. Okay, so this is going to be a bit more my conclusions of, is this kit worth the trouble, and is it worth the money? Simple answer, well, short answer, yes. Yes, it is. $70 for 2 cabooses, 2 train phone kits, 2 lighting kits with metal wheels. Right, I mean, look, I would prefer if it came with KD couplers, but you really can't be too picky, right? Now, the long answer is a bit different, because it depends on how much experience you do have in terms of building kits. Now, let's say, to compare, we have actually something really simple. Penn Central. Very similar cabooses, slightly different. Now, in terms of value, right, your actual, I think the Proto 2000, which I think this was $40, if I remember correctly. So, obviously no light, but window glazing and all that. Now, generally, I will say, is if you are an experienced model builder, I do genuinely recommend this. I think it's a good kit. However, if you aren't very experienced in building models and you really want to add that train phone, honestly, build some other kits, especially something a bit more fragile, like maybe, get used to building something like basic aircraft cockpits or something very fiddly, because a lot of the other train wagon kits aren't really going to have that fragileness of, let's say, the train phone supports. Now, not saying you can't do this as your first kit, it's just, it will drive you up the wall, especially with how fragile they are, because sooner or later, right, one of them is going to snap on you. And generally, what makes a good modeler isn't actually being able to stop things like that, it's being able to fix it. Now, because of that, my only fear is, as someone who is starting in the hobby, buying one of these kits, because it's a good value for money, is you're gonna get upset when the train phone kit snaps on you. You're going, oh god, why did I waste my money? And you just sort of go like, well, I should have just bought the Proto 2000. It's a nice enough caboose. It's not like $1 million like some other cabooses. Overall, I do recommend this, but you do need a little bit more experience in building it to, like, let's say just buying something off the shelf like this. Now, if you're comparing it to something brand new, I do think, look, the brand new ones are way more detailed. There's no doubt about that. This doesn't have an interior. To a certain degree, I've noticed the Proto 2000 ones do. Now, is that really that much of a big deal? No, not personally to me, but for some people it is. Right? And personally, I'd say it's gonna be a big ask, for, let's say, another Walters Proto to ask nearly double as much. And I don't think the Walters Proto is, twice as much value as, let's say, this. So if you are budget conscious, you are, hands-on, go for this. But if you're a bit risk averse, and you want them to try something a bit cheaper, but don't have to worry about breaking it, get this, but don't do the train phone, or make it as simple as possible. Now, without the train phone, it's actually very absurdly easy. My only concern is you fog up like your window glazing, or it snaps off in the middle when you've glued everything together. That is going to be a bit crap for you to fix it, but overall, good deal, good kit. Would definitely recommend, even up to something as a good bargain as, let's say, a Proto 2000 caboose. Opinion so far is definitely get one. Just don't do the train phone if you hate wasting your life on trying to fix little fiddly bits. And so there we have to end the video. So I just want to say thank you, good night, and do tell me what your favorite drink is in the comment. Personally, Dr. Pepper's the best. So have a good night, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.